they'll have you set up unmonitored access, like through something like AnyDesk. So you set a password and you set allow unmonitored access, which means that you could be sleeping at 3 a.m. and they can still get into your computer 3 weeks from now. So they can just continue to access your information and everything, and it's horrible.
Hello and welcome to the 8th episode of the Surfshark Wave Podcast. I'm your host Vidas, and today on the show we have two very special guests, and those are Ashton and Art from Trilogy Media. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. We're excited.
Now, Ashton and Art, they run a channel by the name of Trilogy Media where they essentially try to catch scammers and, in general, prevent online scamming. So tell me more about your channel.
You start with the beginning part.
I mean, the beginning, we came to Los Angeles, to California, to be content creators, actors, producers, directors, writers. And me and Ashton were already been like friends for like almost 10 years. And we actually lived together. And back in the days, he was my roommate. He came to the kitchen one day and he was like, "Oh, did you get these freaking robocalls? All these people calling?" I was like, "No, I don't get those." He was like, "I literally have like so many robocalls like every single day." So he answered one.
It was kind of perfect timing because, like you said, we were already working together. We already had our sights locked in on what we wanted to do. We just didn't know how we were going to do it. And we didn't think it would be this way, but it was kind of a beautiful accident. So, I was getting inundated with those IRS scam calls myself. And just one day I answered one and I decided to record it and just mess with the guy, thinking I would have a few minutes of a funny little video for my Facebook friends. And the call ended up being almost an hour long, and it ended up being pretty shocking. Got millions and millions of views, and it kind of catapulted us into this space where we were learning about it, trying it more, and it kind of just formed into this perfect space where we could do something that's important and relevant and something that needs awareness, but also still be who we are, be our goofy selves, and make content on our own terms.
All right. And what is, to date, your favorite video that you guys have ever done?
We're getting this question asked over and over again. And I think it goes in, when you do for like first year, you think like, okay, this video is favorite, but then you go second year, third year, fourth year, and then you have like India trip, and then you have like glitter bombs.
For me, I maybe it's cliche to say, but it probably is the glitter bomb video, just because when you consider everything that happened leading up to that video, how much every aspect of that video has changed our life, meeting Johnny, meeting Messi, traveling to India, everything that came out of that trip beyond just that video. So that video was kind of the central tree trunk of so many different elements of our content and our life.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely top 3 videos that we ever done. We do a lot of like knocking on the doors, traveling, investigating. So everybody has different set of skills. There are hackers, they are wasting scammer times over the phone, and everything is amazing. But for us, especially being content creators, being filmmakers, to go see it yourself, how every medal has two sides, and we saw this second side, how people live and whatever they do to provide for the family. I'm not saying that what they're doing, they must do that, but they do a lot out of necessity, to pay the bills and provide for parents. And unfortunately, criminals know how many young, educated, ambitious people are looking for jobs, and then they just unfortunately going in the wrong direction.
Now, you guys also do some impressions when you guys sort of try to mess with scammers. What's up with that? I love that.
Thanks. Well, it is entertainment at the end of the day. So when we're doing live streams, we're doing something important, but why can't we have fun doing it? So
create some characters, create some voice changers.
That actually started like we haven't been doing that for the whole time of our channel. It was always just you and I being ourselves. And then when they started catching on with our names, like because I was getting robocalls to Ashton on my phone, when they started hearing my name Ashton, they would get mad because they know who I am. So then I started changing it, and I'd use a different name named Ryan Benson. And then over time, we just kept creating new names. And then eventually we just started doing like voices, and I do an old man voice, and I think that was the first one I ever really did. And then we use voice changers. And now we have like fan favorites, characters that have certain personalities, and it's just kind of the way it evolves. And when we stream 3-4 times a week, I mean, naturally things are going to we're going to learn things, we're going to change things, and people are going to latch onto the things that they really like and make them laugh. So we just like to have fun with it.
Jim Browning, is he real? Is he actually real?
He's real.
Big time real.
We've had a beer with him. I've hugged him. He's a real human being, and he is an amazing human being. He is
amazing sense of humor.
I have. There's not enough nice things I can say about Jim Browning. He has worked with us so much now, and he's the most humble, most easygoing, someone that totally doesn't have to be, but he is, and he's just a very, very kind human being. And
one word, he's maestro.
Maestro. Yeah.
Nice. So let's get into the topic of online scamming. I think most people have been scammed in some capacity. Like I myself, I've been scammed in a video game. I know it's not like, being scammed in like real life or anything, but I remember there was like a video game I was playing, like my items got lost or something. So I think everybody is like in some capacity are familiar with scamming, but online scamming, how big is it in your eyes?
It's huge. It's something that's growing every single day, like a virus. Scammers will find any way that they can to hook you, whether it's a promise of some life-changing reward or a fear of some kind, of whether it's, fear of being arrested, fear of losing money, whatever it is, they will find a way to adapt. Especially in the last few years, it's become even more of an issue than it ever was. But yeah, it's something that unfortunately I don't think is going away anytime soon, and it's a huge problem.
It's crazy that even by misspelling, you want to buy tickets, whatever you want to fly, America, Delta, whatever, you misspell like one letter, and it's gonna lead you to a fake website. It's crazy. Whatever you do, it's like you go in that web, and web have so many traps that you have to look out for it, and it's a lot of red flag, especially when you do online applications, when you're applying for jobs, fake stimulus checks. The list is going on and on and on, unfortunately. Like Ashton said, they're always adapting, they're always trying to move on and find a sneaky way to get our money.
And maybe you could tell me like what can these big tech companies do to prevent this? I'm sure there's something that they can do, right?
Yeah, it's a tricky one because it's like, how can they prevent someone else from doing something under their name? It's just like when we get imposter channels, people will pretend to be us online to try to scam people. There's only really so much you can do. And I think that the biggest weapon against it is awareness, just informing your grandparents. Everybody tells somebody, just inform those that might not know, and encourage people to think it through before they just, jump onto the computer or jump to the bank and getting money for whatever reason, especially our grandparents. Just make sure awareness is key. And that's why I think these videos are so important, as beyond just entertainment value. It's educating people on not only the fact that these scams are there, but showing them on a week by week basis of how they're changing and the new tactics they're using. It changes every week, it feels like, with some kind of method they're using. So awareness is key, and even in your own family circle can make a huge difference.
And when we're talking about the target audience, when you see most of these videos, from not just your channel, but like various channels like Jim Browning, Carl Rock, usually these scammers seem to target older people. What was your experience with that?
It depends on the type of scam, but the ones that we focus on the most stem from call centers in India, because not every scam is operated on the phone. So we, given the fact that we make videos and we live stream, we tend to target those that we can actually engage in real time. And because of that, those robocall scams do tend to target the older demographic. Although I don't know if they make a conscious effort for that all the time. They're more about quantity than quality. That's why so many people get robocalls, and kind of the mass opinion on it is that they're very annoying, and just a lot of people brush them off, but they send billions of them out. So even if 1% of people even answer it, that's still a huge amount of people that could potentially fall victim. And unfortunately, it tends to be those that are a little less tech savvy, a little less in the know about how the government might work, or who may or may not actually call you. And that tends to be the older folks, unfortunately.
So, maybe we can go through a typical scam, scenario, and sort of like maybe pinpoint areas where people should say, question, like, is this something that Microsoft or whatever company would do? And maybe you could go through that scenario.
It can take many different forms. The red flags are something that everybody should know and can usually apply in most cases. The biggest one, or one of the biggest ones in my opinion, is anytime someone wants to remote connect to your computer. Now, they're not going to word it that way. They're not going to tell you, I need to access your computer. They'll word it differently. They'll say, oh, we need to connect to your account to our secure server so we can refund you, you know, that kind of thing. So they always change the wording. They always make it seem like it's part of the process. But anytime they want you to download something or give them any kind of code or access password or anything, that's a huge red flag. And unfortunately, it's something that helps them scam the long term. They'll have you set up unmonitored access, like through something like AnyDesk. So you set a password and you set allow unmonitored access, which means that you could be sleeping at 3 a.m. and they can still get into your computer 3 weeks from now. So they can just continue to access your information and everything. And it's horrible. So yeah, looking out for remote connections, looking out for any kind of urgency. If they're rushing you to do something, it's always a big red flag. If they're promising you a huge amount of money, obviously that's a huge red flag. Basically, when it comes to you, you know, if you're having computer problems, call Apple yourself. Don't call the number on a pop-up on your screen that was given to you or an email that was sent to you. You know, just be very cognizant about people that are coming to you seemingly with help.
Yeah, if you got something in your computer, just bring your computer to the shop yourself and computer shop and let them figure out what's going on. But like Ashton just said, if somebody's rushing you, telling you you're going to get arrested, you have to do it, forcing you in this situation, becoming like, that's how they bring so much fear. They don't want that you will have a minute to think about. So that's why if you have something, just like, I will call you back and talk to your friends, talk to your relatives, and try to find a common sense and make decision on your own. Don't let them make decision on your behalf.
Exactly.
But why do you think so many of these scammers, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like a lot of them originate from India. And so why is that?
They tend to originate based on the scam. You know, we focus a lot on the India ones because we focus on the scams that we can actually interact with and expose, i.e. phone calls. So we go where the phone calls take us. And right now, the main hub for tech support scams over the phone is India. Now, that doesn't mean that all scammers are in India. It just means that that type of scam seems to be very prevalent there. But if you shift over to something completely different, like a romance scam, you're not going to find those in India. You're going to find those in Africa, you know? Yeah. So you'll find the hubs kind of in certain areas. I think it depends on the resources of that part of the world. It depends on sometimes the skill sets. Indians are very smart people. You know, if you get a bad one, they're going to use it to their advantage. So we go where the calls take us. And right now, unfortunately, it's all seems to be in India.
I always give a credit. I will say, like, Ashton, look at this, how smart they are. And they're using those smartness, unfortunately, you know, to be criminals. And they have huge call centers. They have 350 people. There are call centers that they scam during the day, during the night. During the day, they scam UK, Canada, Europe. During the night, they scam America. So it's a gigantic industry, and and everybody getting a cut of it.
So Art, you mentioned these call centers. So why, if the location is known and these operations are known, why is the Indian police not doing anything to solve it?
That's the question of the day, and that's something we're fighting every single day.
Yeah.
Local police, unfortunately, are corrupt, and I can't speak for every individual officer, but it's very common for these call centers. These call center leaders are very wealthy, very influential, and they have their puppets in politics. They have their puppets in law enforcement. So on the ground level, it's because they're paid off. That's the short answer. On a larger answer, we have encountered many law enforcement in higher rankings in India that actually want to do something. But unfortunately there, it becomes a logistic issue because the victims are overseas. So they need a lot of very specific things from victims to make a statement and to show proof. And because these scammers have created 6-7 different layers of separation between the call and the money, meaning bank accounts, meaning, where it's sent goes through a million different people. It's so hard to connect the two on paper. And that's why nothing can be done, seemingly. So
American police is working, Indian police is working. It just takes longer. Like we're getting emails, we're getting phone calls from the law about videos that we made like 2 years ago. And they're like, hey guys, we just came across of this video, PO box and this and money laundering. And it just takes a little bit of time, but everybody's working. But it's not that easy how you think like, go, show the address of this call center is going to be done. No, we show the address. They close call center for a couple of days. When the dust will settle, they open again. And, it's the only pressure that we figured out that we can do is through the media. That's why videos becoming viral. When we asking our fan base, our squad, hashtagging, going on Twitter and hashtagging police specific department in Kolkata, in New Delhi. So people will go and will bring a lot of attention. And when you have the attention, they forced to do something. But again, they close for a couple of days, for a week. They will arrest people. They will do like show off arrest, and then gonna open again. So it's a very interesting, difficult circle that we seeing over and over again.
But you know, at the end of the day, do you guys see like a light at the end of the tunnel, like to this issue? Do you think that this can be solved, or this will just forever going to be, you know, a game of, you know, legality and all that?
I think it's a cat and mouse game.
I think the light at the end of the tunnel are the scam baiters, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's
unfortunately
it's not an industry, but it's a community that has exploded a lot over the last several years. A lot of channels popping up. A lot of people want to do something, and a recurring story you see is people wanting to do something after someone close to them got hit. You know, I don't know if scammings are ever going to go away. It's like saying, is crime ever going to go away? Probably not. But finding a positive way of increasing awareness and entertaining and making it a team to fight back, a resistance, if you will, is the light. And then the rewarding part of actually saving somebody or actually getting a victim their money back can't fix the emotional turmoil, but it certainly is a nice way to make a good thing out of a bad thing.
Yeah. So I think it's something along those lines where it's like, this guy is going to get caught for scamming. And if, you know, what would you recommend if someone encounters a scammer in a way that they already know it's a scammer? Would you recommend for the person to sort of, you know, waste their time?
We don't advocate for people to do that, because if you don't know what you're doing, it can be dangerous, you know, especially when you get into like letting them connect to your devices and stuff, you know, especially on our channel, just for safety reasons. We don't actively ever ask anyone to talk to scammers. We don't suggest people do. The safest thing is just to not engage and to report it. You know, just take note of it, report it to the FTC. And if you want to have some fun, you can send it to us. We can always waste their time. You know, people are going to do what they're going to do, but we don't actually actively advocate for people to do that, just because you never really know who you're dealing with and what you might be getting into.
One of you guys mentioned about, you know, getting these scams through ads, and I feel like that's where one of the tools that come in is like an ad blocker, right? I mean, that can save you some of the scams, right? But maybe some of the other tools that you guys recommend just using?
Yeah, the tools is Surfshark.
Yeah.
Right behind you. That's
right.
the tool.
I mean, you know, yeah, tools are always great. I don't think any one tool is going to prevent all scams. It's good to just have a general awareness about what you're doing online. A general diligence with changing passwords is always important. Using a VPN is legit a good way to protect yourself. Surfshark.
Yes.
We also, you know, they're not asking us to say this, but I personally use and love the app called RoboKiller. And you can actually find our voices in it. It's a really fun way that blocks scams from your phone, and it lets you waste their time also while they're doing it. It's fun. Reporting. It's what we say over and over again. It's just, you know, make sure to report. The more numbers that can be shut down from even somebody just reporting one number can actually save people, because they send out these fake invoices with callback numbers on them. And if those numbers don't work anymore, then those emails aren't going to work. So, you know, kind of creates more work for the scammers, which is always a good thing.
I think community finally find a way to step up for themselves. And that's why you see, you know, like Surfshark is opening and protecting our VPN. You see RoboKiller, you see scam baiters. I think like everybody start like doing something about. And that's the only one way to protect ourselves, our citizens, our friends, our parents. It's bringing that awareness, spreading that awareness. And if you see something suspicious, always report to FTC.
And maybe that's also a good segue to, maybe you guys want to talk about the call center that you guys created.
That was Scammer Payback. All credit goes to him and his team. He created that and invited us to be a part of it, which was incredible. It was at the end of July, and we just started dropping videos about it. That was something, again, like I said, about the community growing. Scammer Payback, we met him a couple years back, and his channel is doing phenomenally well. And he'd been talking about it since day one. He's like, I want to have the world's first anti-scam call center. He's been saying that since the first day we met him, and he did it. He pulled it off. He's got an amazing team over there, and he was able to get all these scam baiters from all over the world.
He invited everyone.
Everyone was invited.
Yeah.
And Carl came from India. Jim came from the UK. I mean, it was we had Deo from Canada, we have all over the US people. It was a real surreal experience. I would put it right up there with the India trip of just being in the presence of so many amazing people, and getting to do that for a week was awesome.
I mean, if there was a financial incentive there, I think like we could potentially hire people to do these anti-scam calls. I mean, that is again a potential solution to this problem.
Absolutely
agree with you. We actually said, like, why government not doing this? So like, look what we created out of being enthusiastic about this stuff. And I think people should be on the payroll and do that on daily basis.
Well, and credit goes to the viewers, because for any of our channels to have resources to do anything like this is because the people are watching videos and supporting the channels. If we have no one watching, we have no channel and no resources to do it. So people watching, supporting, you're helping to create stuff like that, and hopefully it can continue to grow. And I would love to see an anti-scam call center 24/7, 365 one of these days. It would be amazing.
Awesome. Thank you guys for coming to the show. Again, I really admire what you guys are doing. Again, this issue, I mean, it's huge, but with guys like you doing the videos, Jim Browning, you name it, it's only that way that we can, again, like you said, spread this awareness and hopefully get governments, tech companies, everything just combined together and potentially, maybe not completely solve this online scamming issue, but at least reduce it somewhat.
Absolutely.
You have to combine the forces nowadays. You cannot, what they say, like, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, you need a team. And we need a team. And finally, teams start. Everybody has a different set of skills. And I love that, again, brand deals, sponsorship, another way why we able to survive, why we can able to do this on daily basis. We have our office, we have team, we have employees on the payroll, and it's all because viewers and sponsorships.
So. Well, and shout out to Surfshark for that too, because I mean they could just as easily not have anything to do with this and just advertise on TV or whatever, but they're taking an active role in participating in the community of people that's actually fighting back and taking an interest in people that are YouTubers, and it's great to see that. And and that's one of the many reasons we love working with Surfshark. So hats off to you guys.
And hats off to you guys. So thank you for coming on the show. I'm your host Vidas. This has been Surfshark Wave, and come check us out on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcast. I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.
Awesome. Thank you for having us. Bye-bye.